On this week's episode of the MHM Social, I chat to one of the Premier League's greatest ever strikers, two-time Golden Boot winner, Mr. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink.
Hey, you alright?
Jimmy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Busy.
I imagine this week with the cup final coming up as well, bet everyone wants to talk to you.
Yeah, one or two people. How is the little one?
Yeah, really well. Got another one on the way now as well.
Have ya?
Yeah, no messing about me.
Lockdown baby, yeah?
That's it. That's what I keep telling
Really?
you. Well, Netflix got boring, so there was only one thing to do.
We've got two girls 20 months apart, so I know how it is.
I'll be phoning you up some advice, pal. You'll be getting calls. What do I do now?
Right, run.
And thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving me the time. I wanted to ask you first about, we'll start with Leeds, obviously back in the Premier League after all the years.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed watching this season, and what's impressed you most about them?
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of Leeds, and even last year, the way that they play, very mature, especially for a championship side. They played the best football in the championship. Even when they were playing in the FA Cup against Arsenal, they did really well. So their identity and the way that they are playing is really nice to see. Nice from the eyesight. You know, we all want to see good football, and they've been trying to play really good football, and they did as well. And what they have done as well, they put results with that as well. At the end, as always, it becomes a lot harder with good football and getting results. You know, when you're that close, then the good football is not really that important no more. It's about getting the results, and you saw that of late, that you know, when they were really fighting for them 3 points, and the promotion was almost there, that the quality of football went down, but the fighting spirit went up, and that was really nice to see. So yeah, I enjoyed watching them a lot. They're a good side, and hopefully they can add some really good talent and some really good players, and they can be a force, you know, in the Premiership with that support and that atmosphere at Allen Road. It's different. There's no club in the Premiership like that. They are unique at that. It's always very hostile when you go to Allen Road.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I watched them. I was at that game, the Arsenal game, and in the first half, they could have been 3 or 4 up, and they looked like a Premier League side. And I think that'll serve them in good stead going forward. But you know, go back to your time there and how big a club they was then. Obviously, they're still a big club, but how successful they were then with the European football, the players they had like yourself. I wonder whether they're coming up this year and fans would expect them to, you know, to be like a regular fixture in the Premier League now, compete top half of the table, fighting for Europe, or do you think there'll be a realistic expectation of let's stay in the Premier League? We are where we are. We need to gradually build back to the club we were, 20 years ago. Do you think the fans will kind of manage their expectations there?
I think with a club like that, the fans are going to always have expectations. That shirt weighs a lot heavier than other clubs. It's just how it is, and there's only a certain kind of player that can play for the club. But I think they have to be realistic. The fans. I think this year in the Premiership, I think they will be safe. They will be able to do it. I think it will be. It will be not. I see them to be doing all right in the Premiership this year. For me, it's the 3-year plan. I think the second and third year is going to be harder than the first year. There is where they're going to have the challenge in the second and the third year. If they overcome the second and the third year, then they will be in the Premiership for years and years and years and years, or they should be in the Premiership for years and years and years. Yeah. If you look at Aston Villa, who I would have thought that Aston Villa would be in the Championship 2 years ago and had to struggle this year to stay in the Premiership. I definitely think that Leeds will do better than Villa did this year. But it's for me the second and third year that is going to be the challenge.
Yeah, I agree. And that actually leads me on to what I was going to ask you next, bringing up Villa, because they spent a lot of money. They put a lot of money into coming into the Premier League. And when I think people looked at what they spent in the market, no one expected them to, really struggle like they did this year. And I think with Leeds, I was going to ask you, who do you think is really important? It's imperative that they keep, and what do you think they need to add?
Well, they need to add. They need to add. Am I surprised about Villa? I'm not, because I think they have got a different way of the recruitment and who decides who is coming at the club. And I know the manager quite well, and I know how he works. So it was always going to be difficult for them this year. Hopefully they can change that aspect and bring in players that are more suitable to the way that I think the manager wants to play. I'm really happy for Aston Villa that they have survived, and it's also a club that should be in the Premiership. With that history. For Leeds, yes, they need the right recruitment. I'm a little bit worried in that area, because if you look at the middle of the season where they needed a new striker in, and they went for Augustine or whatever his name is, he never played. He came in injured, and he never played, and that's a worry for me. They do need, in certain areas, they need fresh, good players who know the Premiership.
Yeah.
Striker. Ben White is going back, who did absolutely magnificent. So they need another right back. They need another centre half. They have struggled with the left back position, where Douglas was injured a lot, and Dallas played left back, and that's not really his position. So they will have to look in that area. They have to keep Phillips. They have to keep Phillips at the club. And they definitely need a striker and a few wingers. They had a lot of loan players, so their loan players are going to go back. So you will see quite a big turnaround of players, and that's in a way also quite a worry. I think the most important thing for them is to keep Bielsa. If they can keep Bielsa, the way of playing keeps on going forward, the structure keeps on growing, you have stability then, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. I think Bielsa would be their biggest signing. Keeping him and carrying on with that identity and what he's building there, I think will definitely serve him in good stead and keep him moving forward in that Premier League. And I wanted to move on to your next club. One of your other English clubs is Chelsea. And I was going to ask you about Frank Lampard. I know you know him well. I know you've got experience at the club. I know you've managed as well, so you can see it from both points of view. And I find it hard to judge his job this year, because some people say he's done fantastic because of when he come in and they had the transfer ban and the way he's brought through the young players. And other people say, well, 1 minute it's Chelsea. Look at the squad they've got. Top four, it's where they should be. I'm kind of undecided. Where do you see it?
Top four. I think for him, achieving top four is a good achievement. It's a very good achievement. Especially Hazard has left, one of the best players in the Premiership. But let's not forget, there's still a lot of talent still there. Yeah. I think you have to judge him on the way that Chelsea has tried to play their football, and who he has brought through. what did he get? How did he inherit the team? How did they play? And he has changed the play styles, and I think he has changed the play style to the better. Yeah. I think they are more exciting. They are more exciting going forward. They're more dynamic, you know. So in that aspect, you have to praise him, and you have to say he's done a magnificent job. The amount of goals they have scored, you know, all that kind of stuff. If you're going to be negative, then you can look at the negative part at they have received way too many goals against. Yeah, so defensively, they have not been good enough. Now, some people might say the coaching is not right. Some people might say he's not worked too much on the defense, or some people might say the players defensively are not good enough. Yeah. You know, so in that aspect, I think he will look at it and he would think if we can improve a little bit on going forward still, but get way better on the defensive part, the gap between Liverpool and Man City will get a lot smaller, because they have received. If you look at the amount of goals they have scored, I think they are fourth in the league or third. Yeah, but if you see the amount of goals they have received, I think they are, especially away from home, they are 17th. You know, so that is just not good enough for a Chelsea side. And if you look at the amount of goals they have got against in corners and set pieces, they are bottom of the league with that. So these are all things that he can, I think, easily improve. You know, so looking at being fourth, I think that's a big achievement with players who have got no Premier League history, like Mason Mount, James, the striker, Abraham, Christensen, you know, all them that calling. That is just four of them, and Mason Mount has been a revelation in the beginning. Abraham did absolutely magnificent, but you can see that, you know, he's young and he's never going to be able to play in his first year the whole year at a consistent way, you know. So I think if you sum it up and you would say Chelsea is going to end up fourth, I think Frank Lampard would sign for that straight away at the beginning of the season, and you would say, yeah, great season, good season, good first season. Can we build from that? Can we make that gap? Can we make that gap smaller now with Liverpool and Man City? It's 33 points. Can we make it at least 10 points? You're not going to be champion next year, but can we get a lot closer? Can we be competitive now with them? You know, and be more consistent. And that's what his next step is, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I actually think they'll be the team to close the gap, because if you look at who they've already signed and getting business done early, they can bring in another defender or two, and like you say, improve, like tighten up a little bit at the back. I think they can get closer, maybe not win it like you say, but definitely be a team that kind of pushes on and challenges Liverpool, Man City.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that they need to do something in the back, a central defender, a left back, maybe even a goalkeeper, a new goalkeeper they've been talking about. But then also they've got a problem with Jorginho. You know, Jorginho, he is a very good player, but if he's going to play and Kante is going to play in advance forward, you need two centre halves that can easily play 1v1, because he's not going to be able to stop the counter-attacks easily. That's just not his nature. He's very good on the ball. He's very good to start the play and all that kind of stuff. But to stop the counter-attacks is a problem. If Kante plays behind the ball all the time, then they looked a lot stronger, defensively. But I think the manager wants both in the side, and that makes the back four a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And I want to come on to the cup final. You're talking about experience, and I think Olivier Giroud's been doing so well, and I'm a bit worried about him being an Arsenal man coming back, and he loves scoring a goal at Wembley as well. How do you see that going on the weekend? Confident?
Yeah, confident, but it's a cup final. It's a final on its own. Chelsea is playing well at the moment. The 2-0 against Wolves is a big result, especially keeping a clean sheet. We all know that at the moment Arsenal are not keeping clean sheets. But then still Arsenal is a very dangerous side going forward. They have got a few injuries. Look, it's a cup final between two rivals, two London clubs. On the day, everything can happen. At the moment, you would say Chelsea's edging it because they are playing a bit better. But still, Arsenal is a very, very dangerous team.
Yeah. So I'll put you on the spot. What do you reckon the score is going to be?
2-1 Chelsea.
I can't believe you've not said Arsenal, Jimmy. I just can't believe it.
that was never going to happen.
At least I know you're honest, though.
Yes.
Mate, I want to finish with a couple of questions. I put it out there to some people on Twitter, to some fans, to answer your question. And Dan Copley wanted to answer, out of all the players you've played with and formed many good strike partnerships, who's the best? Who's the one you loved playing with? Who you'd get them goals and they'd get you goals?
Oh, well, I obviously, at Chelsea, I love playing with Ido Johnson. We had a really great partnership. Also like playing with Gianfranco, but the partnership with Ido was just a bit better. We just clicked very, very, very well. At Atletico Madrid was Valeron. I think he set me up so many goals of I scored that year, I think 37 goals, and I think he set me up something like 20 odd goals, pass from him. So yeah, I've been fortunate playing with some very good players.
That's good stuff. And I want to ask you to finish, mate. Just a question. I had a look this morning. I knew it was over 200 goals. I think it's something like 249 goals you've scored in your career, which is absolutely superb. Twice Golden Boot winner, and on a personal note, one of my favourite strikers has ever played in the Premier League. Out of all those goals you've scored, what is the one that sticks with you? If you could go back and relive it, watch it on the sideline, what's the one that comes to your mind?
It's so difficult. I've been asked that, but it's so hard. I think for the Premiership, I think my first goal for Leeds, I think it's not the most prettiest, but I think it was the most important one. I think it was my debut. It was Leeds against Arsenal. It was summer of '97, and I scored against David Seaman.
Yeah, which is not easy to do either.
It's not easy to do, but I've got a few against David.
So we're going to lose the cup final. Best goal was a goal against Arsenal. You're not. I think you could have been a bit nicer to me today, Jimmy. And as I was saying to you, we've got a big Leeds event coming up next year, and we'll get you involved in that. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you, mate, and having you back on the show. Mate. Top man. Thanks,
Cheers.
Jimmy. Appreciate that, mate.
Bye. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the MHM Social with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. If you did, please like and subscribe to this page for more episodes of the MHM Social.